Welcome back to the Koa Sports League.
Welcome back to the Koa Sports League.
Welcome back to the Koa Sports League.
We've got live broadcasts like you've never seen before.
Sinclair's holding them off. Cohen's off the front. Giuliano up the inside. Looks like Giuliano's going to time that attack perfectly.
We've got a pre-show like you've never seen before.
And in the race tonight, Alessio has a victim, and he's beaten him twice out of 2 times they've ever raced, and that's Yuri. So he's got the wood, as we like to say.
We've got live workouts like you've never seen before. Seconds to go, 7 seconds to go. Start to grit those teeth, and you've just got to loosen the grip and push a little bit harder.
Performance verification like you've never seen before. Hang on. Whoa. Wait, hey. Mate, you're in the book. You're in the book. What's your Valentine? Right, you're in the book, mate. You're in the book. Kent Cross, you're in the book.
And it's all free.
And it's all free.
And it's all free. Welcome to the Ahdr Chop Ride and also the Koa Sports League verified race. I'm Greg McDermott, and joining me tonight, as always, is Tim Ballantyne. What are you laughing for?
Oh, mate, I got to laugh.
Did I just say ADHR instead of Ahdr?
You didn't say Cycling Australia either.
Oh,
but
well, I've practiced it 4 times.
How many times? You're one of those guys, he's literally on his phone, like right up until the second it goes live. But of course, welcome along everybody, and we're trying to add a bit of fun and flavour to the action here on Zwift as well. So as you said, Greg, we've got the Chop coming up very shortly, which we'll go through, and then followed by our Koa Sports League verified race, which jeepers, have we got a lot of riders in that as well. But I think we're touching some record numbers, Greg.
Yeah, 800, over 860 regoed and entered for the Chop, so we'll have to keep our eye on it. I believe from our good friend Surly Chops that 700 is about the all-time record on the Chop ride, so we're looking to break some records tonight. Now, speaking of the Chop,
on the Chop.
Speaking of the Chop, the D-grade riders have rolled out, and C-grade, if they haven't, will be rolling out very shortly. Let's, Tim, run through what the Chop is. So it is a handicap event. In effect, D-grade get a 9-minute head start on A-grade. The trick to the Chop is to stay together. So 5 minutes back to C-grade starting, then 2 minutes to B-grade, and then a further 2 minutes to A-grade. So 9-minute head start, 7-minute head start, and a 5-minute head start the D-grade guys have and girls have on the A-grade chasers. So a bit of the bunny up the road stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. It does bring out the best in riders, and we're doing 6 laps of Volcano Circuit counter-clockwise, so somewhat of a different course. We might bring up the squiggly map and have a look at that in a second. It's, of course, in the world of Watopia. So Volcano Circuit, counterclockwise. So they will start on the pier, Greg, and they come off, and so you've got that little bit of a lead in, and then they've got to do 6 bungers of the Volcano Circuit, and it's about a 30k course in total. You can see there it's 4.1 per lap, elevation of 152. So if you go the other way, if you are new to Zwift, and if you do go the other way, you do get a much different experience on this course. So one to favour the big sprinters. You're going to see some whopping big numbers and some very high watts per kilo held for long periods of time, I would say, tonight. So looking forward to that. And there are some very, very big names, as usual, in the Cycling Australia AHDR Chop. Yep. Let's have a look at some of those riders, Greg. I'll throw to you, mate.
Let's have a look at some of the riders contesting the Chop tonight over a couple of different grades. So first of all, just to point out, we're going to highlight a few of the best cyclists in Australia that have entered late, I will say, and will be joining the Chop as well. But we're going to
pull you up there, mate. I can't do it tonight. So.
You're out. Okay,
so
too many.
Not quite the best.
No carbs today for Tim. So first rider we're going to highlight is a man out of Australia named Cameron Roberts, 177 meters. 177 metres tall. He's a big rooster. He's higher than the Eiffel Tower. So Cam, 177 centimetres tall, 64 kilos. And one of the themes that we're going to run with tonight, Tim and Kappa, and we haven't said hello to Kappa yet, but we will, is that we have some genuine gentlemen that we're going to highlight that could have been jockeys, along with the great man Billy Slater that we'll talk about later as well. So 119 races for Cam, very experienced. Last 10 starts, 3 wins and 2 second placings. He's part of the team, part of Team Aero, and that's the Aussie Esports Racing organisation that you guys will find out a little bit more about that tonight. I've got a text through from Tully, which is where I was looking earlier, and we'll tell you a little bit more about those guys as well. This guy's a genuine contender. In real life, he's raced the Oz Road Champs in 2020, finished 24th, and not only a couple of years ago as well. So look out for him at the pointy end of the field when and if and when A grade roll right over the top of B grade. Over to you, Tim.
Good transition here. Actually, it goes to the heart of the different shapes and sizes of riders on Zwift as well, and the races and what's important. So if we're going to have a look now at Aaron Dunn from Australia. So if you compare him to Cameron Roberts, just in the very basic, I'll just go this way. He's
on his
178
face, Tim?
centimetres. So he's only 1 centimetre taller, but he's got 16 kilos on Cameron Roberts. So you would just expect Aaron to probably pack a little bit more punch in the finish. So, different courses are going to favour different strengths. But let's have a look at some of Aaron Dunn's finest work. So he's 339 races deep into his Zwift racing career. His last 10 starts, he's had a couple of wins and a couple of seconds. So he's going at 40% on the podium. He's won the chop before, which is a huge, huge effort. And he's won it when B grade stays away. He's part of the WP Taz team, of course, got a team in the Koa Sports League as well. He's in great form the past couple of weeks. And according to what we could see, I'm not sure whether it's correct, but first time on the counterclockwise volcano circuit. Aaron, if we've got that wrong, pull us up, because there's nothing more than we love than being corrected.
Absolutely.
And Greg always stitches me up.
Now, just
with
before Kappa,
misinformation
before
too.
you take Aaron's photo off there, now Tim spoke
Don't leave me hanging here.
last Friday morning of a poo implosion, I think it was called. Is that what's hit Aaron in the face there? just checking. So
Yeah, that's right. I've actually copped one of those before. Anyway, so over to Greg, mate. You're going to have a look at one of these last riders, because
Another man out of
B grade's often going. C grade is often going.
Yep, and 3 minutes and 20 seconds till the A grade group absolutely busted off that pier and get moving on the volcano course as well. So third rider to highlight in the chop this evening is a man out of Australia, Mr. Jeffrey Creel, a veteran racer, 178 centimetres, 68 kilos, another jockey. Maybe a heavier jockey. Wait to hear this, guys. 687 races, if you don't mind. So
wow.
He's done one race for every person that's starting the chop tonight. So there you go. So he's part of Team Vision. He's had a couple of wins, a second and 2/3 in his last 10 starts. Team Vision, obviously, with the great man that we had on the podcast last week, Nathan Guerra, heading up that team. Recently set a new FTP in the Crit Racing Series. That's the double Crit Aussie Series on a weeknight in Australia. Watch him right at the finish. He'll definitely be the man to watch with A grade rolling up to B. So let's check out what's going on, Tim. Back to the little kicker we're going to have a look at, or a stinger even.
Yeah, let's have a chop stinger. We got the B grade off in 9 seconds.
Righto, we're back, and B grade have just launched it straight off the pier, and some huge numbers we're watching there going through there as well. Look at the size of that group. Is that 306 riders in B grade, Tim?
Unbelievable. I think it's 206,
Oh,
but
my eyes
that's
are no
okay.
good. I'm getting old.
It doesn't matter where you are, indeed. So they hang a left-hander off the pier, and over to get to the Volcano circuit. Of course, they've got to do a little bit of a lead-in work here, and it certainly isn't flat. They come up this long sort of ramp and they'll wind their way up there as well. So about a little bit over a minute now. So this is the head start. Just want to give you a little bit of a feel here between A grade and B grade. And bear in mind, some of these B grade riders, they are seriously talented. And so A grade, 54 seconds on the trainer getting ready. So we're with Bradaric at the moment, and he's at 200, about 300 watts there, 162 beats per minute, and maintaining a nice cadence there of 83. We'll try and bring some of that data in as well. But we've already got some power-ups being played that they've carried across and possessing. So they've got plenty of chances with 6 laps to pick out just the power-up that you want. You want that aero power helmet in that finish line. So, of course, we've got the Koa Sports League race starting in 26 minutes, but we'll do our best here to cover the chop as well, getting the balance as best we can.
Yeah, if you've got any comments or feedback or anything like that, only if it's good feedback, of course, but jump across to Facebook you're already on Facebook, so jump across to Facebook if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch and join us in the commentary. So leave your comments there. We're happy to broadcast those out as well, and any shout-outs to any riders that might be rolling along as well. Now, A grade have just rolled out, Tim, and this, I would say, is one of the hottest fields we've ever seen assembled in the chop, and we have a total of 9 to 10 professional Australian riders that have joined that group. I'm sure there's more. They haven't been verified by the Zwift just yet, so interesting to see. Yep. We'll run through a few of those names as we go on tonight.
Yeah, and you'll see some advertisers doing some really funky stuff there. So, of course, counterclockwise, B grade just coming across here, and they're going to take a right-hand turn onto the circuit. They haven't quite started even the 6 laps yet, but we've got A grade here working their way through. We've got 153 riders at the moment. We'll go to A grade in a second. We'll wait till A grade get a little bit more up the road and probably out onto the circuit as they start to work their way through and try and stay as that group. So, again, as you say, Greg, some of those names in A grade, some of those Olympic level.
Well, let's just run through some of these names. Olympic gold medalists, if you don't mind. Keelan O'Brien, Sam Welsford and Lee Howard. All of that Australian team pursuit team that knocked over Great Britain. Geez, that was good to watch last year. Along with those guys tonight, we have a good smattering of Oliver's Real Food Racing team as well. We got Jack Sykes in there, Liam White and Finton Conway. What an Irish name that is, Finton Conway. So great to see those guys in there too. And then also, as always, in the chop is the great Jay Vine. And I have noticed his wife, Bree, has stepped up to A grade this evening as well.
That's awesome.
And also along there is Sam Jenner and Ollie Wood. So a shout out to all of those guys. They are all genuine Olympic hopefuls, most of those guys, so good to see them in the field. Yeah,
B grade, well and truly nice and organised, and of course we can refer to a little bit of Zwift power as well. We should say that if you've got a couple of screens available to you, then sometimes that secondary screen, as we talked to Tim Searle a lot of the times about what happens in the chop, you pick up a lot of stuff that you don't see. Obviously, we can't pop 4 screens up there at once, but Zwift Power is a great place to go, and they've got the live action there of all different colours, and you can see that we use it as broadcasters quite a lot because it gives you a really good look at time gaps and things like that. So already, we can see there that it's a 7:31 time gap between A and D with a 9-minute head start. So they've already chewed a lazy 90 seconds A grade off D grade. So they'll wind their way now down.
This is a good chance in this. We're going to go around here 6 times. Where the riders just came down there watching in B grade, that is a really good chance to have a little break. There's a little 5% downhill there. Get the heart rate back in under control. Have a little drink, wipe the brow off, and then get ready to hum it along again. So just watching Muir there at the moment, 148 beats a minute. Now, I don't know the big D Muir or J Muir, but 148 beats a minute in an event like this is pretty comfortable, I would say.
Yeah, and I've just picked up Stratton's name here in the chop as well, and we know he's had a lot of success also. I just saw a J. Gomez with potentially, or maybe I've picked that up wrong. I might be off there, but let's see if I've seen that.
Well,
wrong.
He does live in New Zealand.
I might have that
so
totally wrong, but
I'll
see if obviously with 153 riders, we'll see if we can pick that up. But welcome along to the broadcast. If you are tuning in for the first time, you get to sit back and enjoy 3 coaches, I should say, Waffle. And when I say 3, Kent Cross, of course, running the production and able to multitask at 27 years old, much better than us has-beens. Kent, mate, welcome along.
Thanks, guys. And I'm getting older, and I'm still able to do this. So,
happy birthday, Kappa. He had celebrated a little birthday last week, and he didn't even jump in there.
I gave him the lead-in because we know how much Kent loves people, and he loves birthdays. And, happy birthday to you, mate. How old?
27.
27, same age group, so nobody really cares.
Now,
it's not important.
Now, one of the another couple of pros to highlight in the field tonight is a young Australian man who races professionally with the Israel Startup Nation team, and he is of the name of Freddie Ahdr, and he is a genuine beast, and he's been smashing it out for quite a number of weeks now on Zwift. I'm not too sure of what part of the world he is. I know I saw him at a local crit race here a couple of months ago, and he was heading off to Europe, so I'm assuming he's still over there. But great to see Freddie in the field.
Yeah, indeed. So
watch him for the finish.
Yeah, okay, no problems. So you've got no chance, sir, because Greg's just picked you, and he is absolutely the kiss of death. So Kent, mate, what has been going on in your training world at the moment, mate? You've just been ticking along beautifully, lifting your eyes to a couple of goals, I think.
I have indeed. It's that time now to start stepping up. Of some races being announced, which is pretty exciting. I even managed to get out for a little swim in the ocean.
Oh, yeah. How good is it?
That's solid, mate. I'm impressed.
One little swim. That's great, Kappa. I did the same this week. First time in about 3 months. How good was it?
It was lovely, mate. And to take note of the occasion, I put a massive hole in my wetsuit, and I now need a new
drop
one.
some weight, mate.
Even better.
Too many kilos. So let's give a shout out to some of these riders here in B grade at the moment. It's good to everyone loves a bit of a shout out, Greg, and get a bit of a head wobble. So we've got some commentary coming through. Also, go Vishnu Roy from Brendan Marshall.
Brendan Marshall's an Irishman that lives on the Sunshine Coast. So there you go.
Oh, there you go, mate. There you go. You actually talk to people. I don't. So
too busy.
There you go. So indeed, and we've got some comments coming through from Tim Searle as well. Big numbers and big names, which we're going to try and point out very, very shortly. So let's go through some of these names we're seeing in B grade at the moment as we follow them around. Of course, we will get to A grade, but they have to wait their turn. They've just kicked off their first lap, essentially. So they've done about 5.5 minutes and 5K of lead-in. So some of the names in B grade we can see there. We've got Leckenby, BG, Kerr, Sidge, Sardinas, Hughes, and welcome along also S. Evans as well. So B grade just going beautifully, and we'll pull up Zwift Power in a second, the live, and see how we're going with time gaps, because with 6 laps on a very short circuit, we're going to see some overlapping. We're going to see B grade come through. There's just going to be a few.
There's going to be a lot going on here for the finish.
A lot going on to follow and see.
I did see our man that we highlighted there pre-race, Dunn. He is right in the man with the poo on his face, Tim. He is right in the heart of that B grade group, and he's got the poo. What did you call it last week?
Mud.
A poo-plosion or something.
Oh, Punami.
A Punami,
mate. Yeah, every dad will know that one.
Anyone out there that's got a child under 1 or had one in the past would certainly know what a Punami is, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and there we go with B grade at the moment. So they're just coming through the back section here of the counterclockwise circuit and yep, we're working on that at the moment. So great engagement there on social media. We'll push through some of those comments. If you've got any really hard questions for Greg as a coach, really detailed, hard questions, fire them through and we will ignore them. That is for sure. So B May, you can see a nice tight pack. Let's go have a look at A grade at the moment as they are well and truly out on course and trying to mow down D, C, and B grade. Will they get the job done?
Yes,
that will be interesting.
There's certainly a lot of firepower in that group this evening, gentlemen, and I would expect nothing more than that A grade group to run straight up to B grade later on in the event. But at the moment, let's just run through some times as we just watch that A grade group hit the volcano there. So there's 75 riders in that main group of A grade, believe it or not. ETA of 43 minutes and 42 seconds, 20 seconds faster than B grade, and about 20 seconds also faster than C grade. And D grade still there with a small group of 15 riders off the front. We hope none of them are over threshold, but they're still looking to take the chocolates at the moment at 43 minutes and 25 seconds. The power in this event, Tim and Kappa and everyone else watching out there, is certainly the power in the pack That's where this all comes from, and it's all about holding that group together. You'll see the yellow beacon above a rider there in the B grade group. We're just watching at the moment as I watch Tesseriro go up that hill. 6% climb there as they come up that little rise. You want to stay with the beacon. He or she is going to set that pace that's going to lead you to the front, and you'll see some different coloured jerseys just getting washed back through that B grade group there. There'll be some D grade riders that are riding their own race. As we see, we just watched Peary there just do a little bit of a side swivel and a skid as he went up the hill as well. So there's with the numbers in the groups, guys, there's a bit going on for the little men running the computers at Zwift, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the Zwift numbers, we're pushing 35,000 peak Zwift, which is just absolutely phenomenal. Now, when you'll see here, if you are unfamiliar, you see a lap counter as they come through here. So, of course, they're doing 6. You'll see on the right-hand side here as they come through the banner how many laps they've essentially got to go. So they've just finished. That should drop down to 5, and that's 5 laps to go here for B grade. So a nice little marker there if you're doing a Zwift race for the first time on these types of courses. Obviously, we're going to be out on the Bell lap pretty soon in the Koa Sports League race as well, which is 10 laps. So a good way just to give yourself an indicator or a bit of an uppercut as to where things currently sit.
Yeah, so just a little bit of a note came through there from Roy, one of the ride leaders actually, that wanted a quick spring back to see what's going on between B and C. So they're approximately 1 minute 30 apart at the moment, mate, if you're watching on the broadcast. So keep working hard.
Yeah, they are, and really well organised. I've noticed we've obviously been covering the chop just for a short period of time, but I definitely can see that we seem to have larger groups of riders working together. And I saw some of the commentary also in the paddock pre-race from a lot of the ride leaders or the beacons saying really to try and focus on sticking together. So that seems to be the case, and they're doing a really, really good job. So, funnily enough, I don't know whether you've seen during the week, but Cycling New South Wales and Cycling Queensland have well and truly laid down the gauntlet, and they've thrown the gloves off.
Wow, what's going on there?
We've got a little bit of something happening. Well, you would have seen the state of origin that the two states are going head to head. Of course, you know, obviously the state of origin in the rugby league, as they say, the rugby league is a huge event, and we're going in a cycling context. So we're working with those two states to bring that to you in our Koa Sports League races. But we've got some. Look, I was a bit devastated to see a breaking down of a father-son relationship as a family man.
You never
myself.
like to see that, do you?
You never like to see it. And we did manage to capture that moment. So let's have a little look at that and check it out.
Queenslander, come on boys!
What are you doing? You're watching your last success? Yeah, that was all the way back in the last decade.
Mate, what are you wearing? You are a disgrace. Mate, you come from a Queensland family.
New South Wales all the way.
Mate,
Up the cockies.
yeah, go and get on your bike.
Yeah, I'm not Hey everyone, I'm Aidan Sinclair. I'm from Newcastle, New South Wales. I race for Oliver's Racing on the road. Join me in racing the Cycling State of Origin series, brought to you by Koa Sports. Let's give it to the Cane Toes.
Mate, I thought you were supposed to be grounded. What the hell are you doing? You got no chance against us,
I'm actually on the bike. Come on.
Mate,
Actually,
look at
come
his
on.
man.
Come on.
Go the Queenslanders! Queenslander! Guys, mate.
Righto, and to jump across and join that league, all you need to do is jump onto www.koasportsleague.com and all the info is there. You get involved. This is going to be an amazing competition over 3 weeks, Tim and Kappa. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, can't wait. It's free, and just got to go through that verification process.
Now
and
let's
boy,
go
oh boy,
back to the
are they
video.
going through
Let's go back to the
thick
video
and
for
fast. Am I on screen now, Kappa?
Let's
And
go.
yeah, that's right. I'm just
How about that video? What an absolute ripper. So shout out to Aidan Sinclair and his dad Pete, who threw that together earlier today, I believe. So good to see those guys getting right behind the league, and you will see Aidan cracking it out in the Oliver's Real Food Racing team, no doubt, in the State of Origin series. So let's just jump back across now and have a look at what's going on in the chop, and just across to that B grade group if we can, Kappa.
Yep, good stuff. We'll just keep a very, very important eye on what is going on over in the chop, of course, because things are starting to heat up. Let's bring people up to speed here on some of the time gaps as they work their way around their 6 laps of the Volcano counterclockwise course. So, Greg, why don't you go through some of that, mate?
Just going to refresh it all up here, and look at the size of that B grade group starting to hold off.
As you can see here, so you've got a lot of riders out there giving it their all. So, of course, it's all relative. So, it's all about finishing events as well. So, really, really tight. So you can see that D grade, that pack's just really sort of broken up. It's just 9 riders strong. You see, sorry, I should say you can't see. And C grade there, just 326 back from D. And then you've got 429 and 534 now. A grade is back from D grade. So some work to do, Greg, I must say. Some work to do. But that, if you are looking on Zwift Power Live, 56 riders in that front pack of A grade, 59 of B grade, and it falls away to 11 and 9. So that coordination, it's so important with that draft effect. So you can see here, this will drop down to 4. So 4 laps to go here on the chop race. So probably a good time to do a little bit of a preview in the upcoming Koa Sports League race as well. So we've got some riders to have a look at, and of course preview some of the course as well.
Yeah, let's have a quick look at that if we can, Kappa, as we go through. And we're going to be a big night tonight on the Koa Sports League verified race. Now, starting from next week, this race is for points. So you need to get right amongst it if you're out there. Tonight's the last of the warm-up series, so it's time to drop the proverbial hammer next week. Is that right, Tim?
No.
No? Okay, so we'll run the next week
It's the week
after.
after.
It's the week after that. So that's great. I've been given some dodgy information, but that's okay.
I can see why you've got your wires crossed because, of course, the state of origin, they are racing for points. But the actual league itself, they kick off the week after. If we're confused, they're confused.
Right, so the week after. Anyway, let's get down to the paddock. Well, not down to the paddock. Let's have a look at some of these riders. And again, Tim and Kappa, some professional athletes are going to join us tonight. First one we're going to highlight is a man out of Argentina, Mr. Thomas Conti. And I'm seeing week in, week out, more and more Argentinian riders come across and join the league, and they're all verified athletes. And I think they're being led by the great man, Messino, who has a very big following with Zwift as well. So this young man here, he's an under-20 racer. Look at that little TT position up there. He's a trackie as well, actually. So last 10 start, 59 races overall. Last 10 starts, he's had a couple of wins, 172 centimetres tall, 67 kilos. He's raced out the Continental team in Argentina, and his team ZF, if you're following along on Zwift at home as well. He's been a regular top 5 finisher in the Koa Sports races. So watch out for the young man, and he will punch it in the face, as I like to say, on the kickers on the last lap. There's 5 pinches. We're going to run through the course shortly, but 5 pinches on the bell lap, and we will see Thomas absolutely smash it through there. Over to you, Tim.
Yeah, thanks, mate. We're having a really good look at a man by the name of Stephen Pink. So Stephen Pink, he hails out of the United Kingdom. He's a bit of a veteran. He's 177 centimetres tall, 73 kilos, 160 races. His past 10 starts, he has picked up a couple of wins. He's a team dropouts rider, so we're certainly starting to see that in the Koa Sports League. We're up to 12 teams now, and also some of the big teams out in the big Zwift community now starting to come in. And certainly team dropouts is one to watch. So Stephen Pink there, he's a time trial specialist, so look for him tonight in the Koa Sports League verified race. And we'll go through some of that verification process and what all that means. But also, Greg, before you preview this last rider as well, it will be super interesting to see how many of the people racing in the state of origin use tonight as a bit of a warm-up. Are they going to throw down their biggest guns, so to speak, or are they going to keep something in the back pocket? So we'll look out for some of those riders, but let's go have a look at the last one.
Absolutely, and the last man to highlight is a man out of Romania that the great Kappa coaches himself, Mr. Tudor Tanavan. So Tudor is 180 centimetres tall and 80 kilograms. Have a look at that photo. He looks like I did when I rode my little bike around this country. That's a very long, narrow road. So Koa Sports athlete out of Romania. He's new to the virtual cycling world, Tudor. He started to join us on the Koa Sports League workouts now, which is great as well. His FTP has gone up by 28% since he started the Koa Sports League only a couple of months ago. So really, really great to see
Good
Tudor.
coaching.
Absolutely. Well done to Kappa and well done to Tudor for following along and following, as you say, Tim, the bouncing ball. So he likes to go long. I've had a good look at his stats on Zwift Power as well. He likes to go long. He'll sustain a long, hard effort. So watch him for the front of that C-grade group this evening on the Bell Lap in the Koa Sports League.
Yep, so a bit over 7 minutes to go to the start of that race. So let's go have a look at A grade, what's happening in the chop, and bring that together, bring you up to speed on where that's going, because we've got an ETA there in about 15 minutes' time. That will be wrapping up, so plenty of action coming your way. So A grade here, they're winding their way beautifully around the volcano counterclockwise circuit, and we'll pick up where they are roughly on the course in a in a short second. So some of the riders you can see there at the moment. Jay Gomez, it is their MCC. I don't know whether that's Javier Gomez. It'd be interesting to see. But that's a Spanish flag. So who knows? Who knows indeed. But geez, if it is, welcome along, I should say. So we'll try and pick up some of the bit. We've got Drew Ginn is back. D. Ginn is back in A grade and off the front. You can see here, as we were talking about earlier, they're going to start to lap, and it starts to get. It's great as a broadcaster.
It's going to be a great finish to call, Tim. They're in the same kit.
That's the relativity of the chop and how it's set up. So you really do need to follow this on Zwift Power. And how that all sort of looks.
Yeah. So looking at some of the times now that have started to take out. So there's still 48 riders in that A grade group. They are 4 minutes and 29 seconds. Remembering they started with a 9-minute gap to D grade. However, that D grade front group now is down to 4. So we've got 48 riders chasing 4 riders. Will be interesting. B grade is about a minute up the road.
And you can see here, so A grade now about to finish. Yep, they're just coming down with 3 laps to go. So about 4Ks by 3. It's about 12Ks to go, hooking along at 52 kilometres an hour.
Won't take
and
long.
What you do see with A grade as well is they start to crank it late, don't they? They really start to crank it late. So just 5 minutes to go there until the Koa Sports League race. And yep, some massive, massive riders here in the front pack of A grade. Cycling Australia's, of course, the chop. So yep, let's watch for a humdinger of a finish.
Just a couple of shout outs too as we go, guys. Shout out to Lionel Villasin, who's a great Zwift racer. He's watching along online at home. Pete Donahue, Tommy Morwood, Steve Lingard comment there. Welcome to the party, Dane Nash. So little one from there. And go Team Aero. Now, Team Aero, guys, is a
Jay
new...
Vine's definitely on that team. I saw Aero beside Jay Vine's
definitely.
team.
So Jay's put me in touch with Tully, who runs the team. So
perfect.
Got a whole heap of stats on those guys. They've got a stack of sponsors. So just a quick shout out to some of them.
Yeah, go for it.
Coda Nutrition, Black Sheep, Velo Kicks, and Leicester Inc. They'll work closely with the national governing body, which is obviously Cycling Australia. They're working as well along with Zwift's local guys, Wesy, Carly, and Vicky Whitelaw, to build up a strong team relationship, and they will be heavy hitters. They want to see themselves on the same level as the Kenyan ZCC team, guys. So watch out for those guys as well. It's going to be very, very good to watch.
We're watching Jay Gomez here with the flag. Now, if you do know Jay Gomez or happen to know, put a little comment in Facebook and let us know if I've got that right. But
we got the great Javier in there.
There's probably a few Jay Gomez's in the world, you reckon, Greg?
Especially in Spain, guys.
Say it's not.
Okay.
Especially in Spain.
What makes you so confident?
Because it's just not.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you now.
Like Kappa's always so positive. Now, he's always such a positive man. He's 2 days into his 28th year of life, and he's just the positive
27th. Don't give me a year short, mate.
Dale
your 28th year. Anyway,
Dale Stretton here as well. So while we all have a little bit of a carry-on, we're just going to take a 15-second break and just wet the whistle for a second and be back very soon. 3.5 minutes for the Koa Sports League race. Got some stuff there, Greg?
Yeah, just the Aero guys, the Team Aero guys are all in that front group. So just a shout out to some of those guys. Ben Hill, Brad Norton, Cam Roberts, Jay Vine, Nick Squilari. Sorry if I've stuffed that up, Nick. He represents the Velo Kicks guys as well. Nick White and the boss of the team, Tully Lister. And I can confirm, guys, it is not Javier Gomez. It is Janan Gomez.
What did I say?
There you go, Kappa. You've won that bet. So I found him on Zwift Power there. So it's great to see him in the field as well. And there'd be nothing better than being confused with one of the best triathletes that's ever walked the planet. So that's always good to see.
Yeah, that's a real bonus, isn't it?
3 riders now in D grade, just still off the front of that group. They've still got a 3-minute 25 advantage to the A grade group. The B grade group's at 2 minutes 56, so just 31 seconds ahead now of that A grade chasing pack. You'll start to see those guys integrate together. And that is going to be one hell of a show when that happens.
Isn't it good to see these teams really starting to work together and stick together? Do you reckon they'd be on a private chat, maybe, Discord or WhatsApp, something like that, and working out exactly where things sit? So not long to go, 1:55 to go to the Koa Sports League race. Of course, 10 laps of the Bell Lap, Crit City. Greg, one of your all-time favourite courses. So before we head on down to the Koa Sports League race in a second, we'll just... have a look at the little stinger, Greg. Head down to the paddock of the league race. We've absolutely got all eyes, of course, here on the chop as well. And we will ensure that you don't miss the Humdinger finish of the chop as well.
Everything watts per kilo by Sprout. Jason's coming back. Jason's coming back over the top. Here we are down in the paddock at Crit City, and one of my favourite courses on the entire Zwift world is this one. Some people would call it boring, notably you, Tim, but a 2K circuit. I did a 40 lapper the other night, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
So huge field.
Well, for a verified race, so we'll just go through a little bit about how this sort of works. And there'll be some people that are thinking about potentially doing the State of Origin over the coming 3 weeks and what's involved and how this all sort of works. So we'll definitely cover that off as we work around. I can see a lot of the athletes that we coach, their name. It's great to see Marek in there, so shout out to Marek, who he got doored. He lives in Japan, believe it or not, out on the road. Got doored 5 days ago, but guess what?
He's back, baby.
He's back. He's suited up and he's back on the kicker. Karim Bari, B. Ruff, Harish Subramanian, Emla Dilly, and April Gillies in there. And we've got Frank the Tank. I can see his name. Some great comments there on the side as well. Such is the nature of this pack. So here we go away. Reese Howell from Canyons ECC. Good to see the team captain in there. I'd be interested to see if we had 100 starters, because we certainly had about 120 signed up for this private event. So how do you get involved? They're about to take this right-hander, Greg. Maybe you can walk us through the first lap, because I'll put my hand up. It's okay. I'm happy to admit it. I've never actually raced on this circuit.
He doesn't know what's going on. So we're just following there with Urchingo as they hit this 180-degree turn here. This is where the race is won and lost here, guys. Right here.
Crack the tongue.
Great stuff. So there's 5 little kickers like this. So 3% for this one. Next one goes up to 5. Next one at 6. Next one 7. Next one 8. The trick is, if you're watching along at home while you're racing, is punch at the first half of the climb, let your momentum carry you over. I've done this track so many times.
You get dizzy.
And so it's a 2K circuit. This is the hardest bit of the whole course right here. So it kicks up to 8%, 7%, but then backs off to 3 and flattens out. They'll hit another hairpin or 135-degree corner at the end here, take a left-hand turn, and the little arch you can see at the top right corner signifies the COM on the other circuit. So we're going to go downhill at 6%.
Jesus, you definitely know it well. So that's unbelievable. So some Koa Sports League jerseys in there as well. So
I saw Webby in there, Tim.
1.9 Ks a lap. Let's call it 2 just to keep things simple. 10 laps, so 20 Ks will be going around. And you will see certainly after about 6 laps, we'll definitely be starting to work our way back through some of the C and D grade roads. One of the great ride-on bombs of all time just dropped there.
That is a massive one.
Yeah, we'll look to see that. So Kay Jenkins in there. And of course, we do start racing for points in the State of Origin from next week. But then in the Koa Sports League, the leaderboard starts getting up and going. And we've cracked the ton, Greg, in this private event, which is a great effort. Of course, we get well and truly every 300-400 in the community race on a Friday morning. But to have over 100 here in a verified event, and we'll go through exactly what that verification means. And I here on the chop as well, I should say, they're absolutely starting to work their way around and do a very good job of mowing down some of the rest.
Let's just run through. There's a second group here, Tim. I just want to highlight some of the athletes just off the back of the main pack in the Koa League. I've got Kazim Panju in there, Ignacio, Chrissy Piper, Chris McAlpine, Karim Bari, Hampson, and Stevie Davies in there as well. So huge pack of Koa Sports riders. Zach Anstey I can see in there as well. Now we might just jump back across to the chop just for a little minute. We're just going to check in there and see what's going on. And then we'll be back with Koa Sports
They still have some work to do, that's for sure. D-grade, they're still holding them off really well there. 138 ahead as they work their way towards the final lap. They've got about a lap and a half to go here on the chop as well. So we've got Serwak in there, that's okay. And we'll give some of a shout out to some of the names. But Team Aero there, and they're really in a commanding position. Dale Stretton in there as well. They're here in the chop.
I think you're talking about Dalton there, Tim. But we'll run with Dale. We'll run with Derek. We'll run with whatever you want. So little shout out there. Laura Wenham. I know Laura. She is Tate Strudwick's mum, and she's made a comment on Facebook there saying, go Tater Tots. So Tate joining us for the first time in the Koa Sports League, and she is going to be ripping and a tearing. So shout out to Laura as well, who looked after me and the great BG while we were over in Bustleton late last year. So hey to Laura.
Yeah, doing a great job. So the A-graders here working their way around. We'll try and pick up some of those time gaps as I do a wonderful job here of just getting us a great view of A-grade. You can really tell when Kent's flying the drone and when I am. And I don't even know what
looking at some nice rump.
I don't even know what buttons to push.
Just press number one.
Press number one.
There you go. How good is that? All he does? He's told us it's taken him 2 years to work that out.
You're fine. No. All right. In the words of Donald Trump, the broadcast is over.
Don't ever say that to Kappa.
The broadcast is over. So here they come, A-grade at the moment. So you'll see up here on the right-hand side, the lap counter. It's going to come well and truly down as they come into the hot section here, down with 1 lap to go here in A-grade of the chop. So we're definitely going to stay with the action in the chop on this final lap. That's for sure. We don't want to miss this finish because they've got some work to do here to try and catch them all the way through. So over in the league at the moment, doing beautifully, and we've got some, we'll definitely go to an attack there if we happen to see one, but pretty well organised over in the league race as well. So here we are still with the chop, and B. Van Dam in there in the front, Hopkins, Lindoff, Valletta. They're going to have to start working. They're going to start to see some bigger names potentially. 116 still through. They're well and truly through, and now working their way, trying to get through D grade. And I'm not sure what's going on with some of those dots on Zwift Power today, but they're well and truly on their way, marching through. Yeah, and we'll work our way through here, try and pick up as many as we can. Good to see Javier Gomez still just hanging in here in the front pack, the first 31. So, yeah, absolutely. So here we have Serwak, Jaguar, what a great name, L. White, S. King, and there's all these Aero team guys working their way through the final section here of the counterclockwise here on Cycling Australia. The chop, Greg.
Yeah, cool. Just watching along with, we're following Jay there in that front group as well. So a bit of integration there now starting to happen with these groups, which we always see in the chop. So he's going to be an interesting one to call. We've got about 3 kilometres to go. So we're well and truly on that last lap. And great to see that this is all going to come back together. And some of these huge hitters, some of these national level performers are going to come rolling right to the front at any time. And I can still see Aaron Dunn still holding in that front group as well. And see Coles in there as well. There's a heap of riders, a huge group. As we roll around there. Mackenzie, from the under-17 rider in there as well, the Australian rider, he's still hanging in that front group nicely as well.
Yeah, always good when you're calling a Melbourne Cup field and everyone's all the jockeys are wearing the same silk. So we love calling the sprint finishes. They're great fun and a great way to just butcher it.
Just
really.
To throw a few more things in the mix,
like
we're going to have C and D grade riders competing in their own grades that we're going to be rolling through as well. So going to be very interesting to see. Now there is a rider in there, the Jaguar. Now he was in that front group last week and just about took the chocolate. Okay. So watch for him in the finish as well.
Good call.
I remember seeing him in there. and Evans as well. He was in there last week. And your man Javier still hanging in there. There's Hedger in there. He'll be in that front finish as well. And a lot of these Team Aero guys really lining up there for that finish. Cam Roberts still in that front group. He's looking very strong as they're about to take this right-hand hairpin turn and head down the hill at about 6%.
Just a little chance to just sort of spin the legs out. Just that last little chance, Greg, to flush the legs out before they come here through for the finish. Maybe just get that heart rate down, potentially by a couple of beats per minute, increase that cadence and flush it all out. So still maintaining pretty good power. The power actually increased there for Jay Vine down that hill. Can you believe it? So now starting to work his way through to the front here. He's moved up from 37th to 22nd. He's just moving up through the pack and trying to get himself within striking distance, or at very least not make sure that he doesn't miss the jump.
Absolutely. So quick shout out again to Steve Lingard. We did mention it earlier, but the great Drew Ginn, part of the Awesome Foursome, triple Olympic gold medalist, he is in this group. I'm not too sure if he's still in the front group, and we will throw to Tim later to do his best Goulburn Valley Gold commercial you have ever seen.
Mate, he's a gold medalist.
So,
he's more than a fruit
I
salad
think he
man,
was still. I think he was still making money off that ad about 27 years later.
If he ever meets you, I'll give him permission to give you a little uppercut.
I've met Drewy many times, Tim, and I could tell you a good few stories. Oh, he actually would, and it's probably not a good thing. But anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Is that right? 3% gradient, so a little bit of a gradient. We're going to see some power-ups being played. A lot of feather power-ups. Jay Vine here moving through to the front at 645 watts, 173 beats per minute. He's moved well and true with Ovett. It's Jay Vine and Ovett leading the charge here towards the finish of the Volcano race. We're going to see some big names coming up, though, in the rear. Jay Vine now moves through to the front.
Yeah, watch Freddie come back. He's a professional cyclist with a heap of guns under his belt. So we've got White now off the front there. Vine's just holding on. Here goes White. He's coming up to the finish line. Up he comes. There's still a couple of ramps to go. He's pushing 15 watts a kilo, if you don't mind. And still there. The other Jay Vine still hanging in there as well. So Team Aero looking for a 1-2 finish. We just jumped away from it there. We're watching White come through to the finish line. He's using his power up well and takes it perfectly, and puts a 1 second gap back into the Jaguar. And I did see an Aero rider in there for third as well, as half the studio just fell over as we tried to cover the finish. So I don't know what happened there. We'll work it out later.
Just a well-timed finish there and also, as we like to see, some of those teams now I didn't think I saw N White come to the front all that often then in the chop. And as you say, Greg, I actually don't want to pinch your line. What did he do?
Took the chockies.
He did take the chockies.
What do you reckon he goes for, the Lint or the Roses?
We're back here with the Koa Sports League verified race. So all these riders you see right now, they have a Training Peaks account with their training and race data connected to us here at Koa Sports for verification of results. And it's been incredible to see the percentage of riders that join the league jump across and do the verification process. And I'll put my hand up and say it's actually surprised me. I thought we might get around 50%. We're still holding it around that 70% mark. So it's fantastic to see. So you can, of course, join the Koa Sports League for free. www.koasportsleague.com. Get involved in the racing. We do some workouts as well, coached leg workouts, structured workouts, and it's all, of course, based on your FTP. Tony Goodyear hanging there. Alex West in there. Is Alex West still in there?
He still is, yeah. Just popped up. He's certainly there. You'll see him with his pink cap on and a disc wheel, no doubt about it.
It looks like we've got a cold field in terms of, different. It's a Jonas Wrap. Jonas Wrap, actually.
He's been in
Ryan
before.
Rosselli there, Kent, one of your boys there doing really well in the front pack. S. Mills, C. Wilson, Aidan Sinclair sitting beautifully.
Tony
Look
Goodyear
for the big
in there too.
NSW beside Aidan Sinclair's name in the coming 3 weeks, as well as he, as we just saw, had a massive dust up with his old man.
Absolutely. So hopefully they're still talking. His old man has to be the one. He's his alarm clock for his racing tomorrow. And good to see right at the front of that group, Tim, is Stephen Pink, who you highlighted pre-race as well. And we see Jamie Baldwin there too. I try in the Koa Sports kit. He's coming through there nicely as well.
Jamie Baldwin over in Monaco now. I used to work with Jamie. He was in Perth, and did he ever? He had one of the most terrifying accidents on a bike you will ever see. And he's bounced back though. And shout out to Jamie if he is watching, or his lovely wife Kimberly as well. Some great. Jamie's English, which is it's a bit of a shame.
That's a setback,
actually. But we'll take a short break and be back very, very soon.
Yeah, so
halfway.
about halfway now, Tim. So just to fill you in on what is happening here. So still that huge front group. Now, there's a huge group of riders here, Tim and Kappa. If we can have a look and try and pick one of them up. This white jersey, which I can see everywhere, I don't know if that's this new Argentinian team or is that Team Relentless in there? That's who that is. That's Team Relentless possibly.
Yeah, it is.
Now,
It is.
all donning the same jersey, which makes it really good for us to commentate. And a huge bunch of those guys joining us every week now. And looks like Jamie just got listening to you too much on the broadcast and got dropped off the back and had to work really hard to get back on.
He's just picking up his head. It wobbled off.
That's why his head
just wobbled off. Joel Liebi in there as well. It's great to see Joel on his way. And Stephen Pink, of course, we previewed race as well. We've got 6. We've got 5 laps to go there. You saw that lap counter just like we saw there on the chop. Amazing race there on the chop. Cycling Australia is the chop. So a great win there. And we'll go through some of those results in a second as they start to push through. Wegrend in there. I love saying Wegrend.
That's a ripper.
And we've got the feather power up being played just through this hilly section by one of the riders. So some B-grade riders still hanging in there, doing very well. Once we start racing for points and once we really start to drill down on some of the data here, we will be starting to move athletes around through categories you would feel.
Absolutely.
So Dazzler Carter there holding towards the back of the pack. I didn't know Dazzler. He will be streaming live. And if you want to see what the avatars are really all about as well, Daryl Carter, of course, one of the great streamers. And we'll check out if you want to have a look at what it all goes through in terms of the pain. But we did get the benefit as well, of course, of Aidan Sinclair. Of course, he was kind enough to give us... Queensland have just given me the feed through to Aidan Sinclair's Pain Cave, Cycling Queensland.
Nice.
One of their rivals. So let's have a look at Aidan Sinclair at the moment. We'll bring him on board and see what he's up to here in the race.
Here he comes now. Here he comes, the young man. There he goes. Look at that. Where's his dad? Is he just gone out to get him a little popper?
Shots fired.
Shots fired. There's Aidan pushing some huge watts around.
That's Aidan Sinclair
around his bedroom.
In his Pain Cave. And, of course, it's a verified race, and that looks legit to me. That looks legit to me. We've got a little bit of an attack off
one
the
of the
front
Relentless
here.
riders.
A 6.1 watts per kilo by Wilson off the front, Team Relentless. So just laying it down and asking the question. Big peloton of very experienced riders will rein that in indeed. So good to see Aidan Sinclair there, working hard. He looks in good condition, ready for the State of Origin series.
I'm part of the broadcast committee here, but I didn't know that was coming, so that was an absolute ripper. So it's a really good one to see. I'm sure he got a little chuckle out of that as he tried to get some water down.
I tell you what, we've got the winner. We've got the winner from the community race last week. We've also got some amazing Pain Cave footage coming at you tomorrow morning in the broadcast of the community race. Already, I think we're going to be pushing about 300 riders in that. But the winner has shared with us some of the webcam stuff of his
had a bit of
finest
feedback
work in his
as
Pain
well.
Cave.
Had a bit of feedback, Tim, on my comment about Nathan Guerra going to have his breakfast looking like a chicken having his breakfast. So if you've got any Pain Cave videos out there, I've seen a few. I know the great Lionel Villassen has. He looks like a chicken going for breakfast as well. So send us through those shots, and we're happy to put those through the broadcast as well as we watch this big pack go over these little rollers again as they go up.
And you can see there Tudor Tanavan, who we're just this front pack now starting to work their way through some of the other riders in C grade. Tudor Tanavan we looked at pre-race and doing mighty well. S. Smith of FFC out of New Zealand and Sarah Goodyear as well. So this is what we're going to start to see.
So Sarah
a little
Goodyear
bit
is in the front group with Tony as well. Tony in the front group there, Tim.
Relentless there controlling the pace off the front. We haven't seen many orange lights yet, Greg. No big attacks, so you'd suspect that they've got plenty of matches in the box ready to burn in the final 3 or 4 laps.
Yeah,
Alex West sitting beautifully. Look for Alex West.
Let's give a shout out too as some of these riders get lapped, which I normally do in these events as well. So there's a few Koa Sports jerseys just floating back through there. I did see Sean Kaminsky out of Japan in there, and that's Brandon Davies, not Steve-O, but a few other riders rolling back through that group as well, which is great to see them out there all fighting for their position and win in their own category. And one name we see every week in there, Tim, and he is also a streamer and punching out his own stream now, is Lovakis.
Yeah,
Big Semi.
Indeed, Big Semi Levaquist. So as they work their way through the final sections here, so 13.2 kilometres down, so and a 20 kilometre, or 19.7 kilometres, so not far to go, 52 kilometres an hour. This peloton is absolutely humming around Crit City at the moment here on Zwift. So Darryl Carter there sitting beautifully in the Koa Sports League kit.
Yeah, there's been a few attacks starting to happen off the front. I reckon this Relentless team's going to have a bit of organisation going on and burning out a few legs. But it's great to see young Sinclair, who has grown up a little bit since we just crossed to him before. He's learning how to race a lot better. He's sitting in the peloton really well these days.
Lionel Viarson there giving a shout out to his teammate Alex West, who usually likes to deliver a couple of body blows, but sitting back and going to enjoy the coverage for once from a different sort of an angle. So will we see Lionel taking the chocolates in many races coming up? So we'll see that lap counter come down to 3 in just a second. There it goes, ticks down to 3. So 3 laps to go here in the Koa Sports League verified race, and you can see up there on the big screen some of the action as well, and they still haven't put my video up there, which I'm spewing about.
So a couple of highlights out of this, the Bell lap as well. We do pass Zwift HQ, which you'll notice it looks exactly like Tim's house. You'll notice that. I'll point it out when it pops up. And then the Watopia mural, which is a little bit of a stickler in the Zwift community as well, as we go down the bottom of the cobble area.
Yeah, and if you while they start to work their way around, of course, we just released last Friday. We released the Koa Sports podcast on Spotify and iTunes, Season 2, Episode 5, I'm going to go with, or 4 or 5. Nathan Guerra, the voice of Zwift, the best commentator in Zwift out there, hands down, sat down with us for about a bit over an hour and a half, and he gave us a pretty interesting insight, a lot of things I certainly didn't know, and it was a fantastic interview. So go, make sure you subscribe and have a listen to that. Of course, a fame of Zwiftcast as well, and we've definitely got an attack there off the front potentially, or that could be another rider, as we need to keep definitely an eye on what is going on here as well. So, 4 seconds, Team Relentless, just asking the question again. Relentless, well organised, Greg, got the big disc wheel. So Galambos here takes an attack off the front, 4 seconds back, and it'll be interesting to see if they stick a fork in the backpack. Alex West won't cop that. No. There's big riders there in that pack. They're going to have to pull this back. Darryl Carter as well, some of the more experienced riders. Yep,
absolutely. So big drop off the front there from Galambos, who sounds like an Italian but runs under the Irish flag. So he's going to be drawn back in. There's a couple of big heavy hitters here from Team ZF as well. So we had Messiino in there and Conti, who we profiled pre-race as well. So they're all going to bring this all back together. I have no doubt about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jay of Relentless as well. So really interesting to see some of these coordinated attacks by Relentless. We haven't really seen them show up in these sorts of big numbers. So sending a little warning shot, or maybe starting to test the legs and maybe send a message to some of the teams like Canyon ZCC and, of course, Team Finesse as well. Haven't seen Team Finesse for a while, but it'd be sure to see them bob up in the community race tomorrow. I'm sure of that. So Emros there towards the back of the peloton here. So probably just 2 laps to go.
4K
usually
to go.
2 is after 3 when you're counting backwards.
That's pretty good, Tim. You've done well there. So 4Ks to go. I did see Alex Tolman's name pop up in that front group, but whether he'd been lapped and rejoined that group for a period of time, I don't know. But there is still. I'm just trying to have a.
He's still in there.
He's still in there. That's
Alex,
great to see. Alex Tolman,
under my wing, mate. They do beautifully.
The man of the moment in TikTok, if you don't mind, if you want to watch a bit of TikTok.
Some of that dancing was horrific.
Have you guys got TikTok?
No.
Do you know what it is?
There's Martin McGavin there, Koa Sports rider out of Victoria, who's just drifted back through that main pack as well, just copping a little lap as he went through, getting a bit of wind burn. And we've start to see some attacks now coming off the front again as well.
Feather power up being played there off the front by one of the riders as well. So Ostot there, Relentless, sitting back in there. And we've got Rands there off the front there, Greg. Rands is in the all-pink kit. Looks a little bit like the Canyon ZCC kit from a distance. But Relentless there taking back control, playing the Aero Power helmet off the front as well. So another attack here, 585 watts here by Ostot, 167 beats per minute, laying down the challenge again. This is about the 5th attack we've seen by Team Relentless here, asking the question of all the other other riders.
Yeah, and the other riders, there's about 6 of them. They will put the proverbial cork right in the front of that main group, and there'll be no chasing done. They will not let them come through the front if they can avoid it. But 170 beats a minute, still pushing 6.4 watts a kilo. This is an attack for the finish, Tim. And 2.8. This is going to mix it up as well there as well.
Gets a bit of a carry through here.
Yep, carry through there. The riders behind can't see him up the road anymore. Still pushing 500 watts as all these riders there nearly fell off their bikes. He's coming through that quick.
Yeah, we're going to stay with Ahdr here. So commanding lead. It'll be interesting to get some time gaps. 455 watts. So we've washed about 70 watts. Picks it back up again at 170 beats per minute. So really interesting to see holding strong. He came through that pack, got a little bit of a slingshot effect, but so will the chasing pack. And there is still some time to go, Greg. We've still got over 2 kilometres to go.
Yeah.
And we've seen 10 seconds closed in a final 400
Especially
metres.
with the
and
likes
there
of...
it is, the chase pack back there, actually moving their way through that B-grade pack or C-grade pack as well.
Here he comes
of,
now.
Nicola Wadi, Claire Denks and Robbie Pirelli.
And there's the last lap flag there. So he's got exactly 2 laps to go.
Can he hold
2
them?
Ks to go. This is where it's all going to count
seconds.
here, Tim. This is where it's all going to count. He takes a 180-degree turn. Depending on the power-up he's picked up, we'll see if he burns it or not. But he hits these ramps as he comes through now. If we can just jump back up to him, Capper, I can't see him up the road. But this huge pack coming from behind as well. And we're just trying to find him there. We're just staying with this main pack at the moment with these other relentless riders as well. And we can see the other guys there fighting through too. Just try to pick up Ahdr there, Capper, if we can, off the front.
Give me a second.
Yeah, he'll definitely be able to find him as I put through another request through production as well. So Kappa about to have a little meltdown. So Relentless now working together really well. Will they chase him down? I think that they will. It's not too far up the road as he'll work his way through the field here. We've got Levaquez as well there in the main pack, and he'll find his way through there. I think I can see him up the road. So we'll work our way through the field as Jumbos, Collar and Malus and Team Fit Coaching, of course. Ahdr there just 2 seconds ahead at 6.4 watts per kilo.
Yeah, they brought him
that
back.
has been well and truly close. But will that just stretch the legs here of the main peloton? Because we've also got to respond there of his teammate there, closing it back across. So we've got a gap there of 2 riders.
Will he put it down now and really rip his teammate into a winning move here? We just see a couple of riders sitting off the front. He has pushed again, Ahdr. He's just trying to read Golombus through there. So here goes Golombus now, and here's attack at 5.3 watts a kilo with 1K to go.
Yeah, just 2 seconds back to that chasing pack when you got the likes of Alex West sitting there, just 1 up, 1 back. He's 2 seconds back now. Will he work his way through? This pack's all come back together now. How many matches has that man Ahdr built as he laid down the challenge? We got Jonas Rapp moving through to the front. Aiden Sinclair moves into position. It'll be difficult to see if Aiden can get the chocolates on this course. Let's have a look at this, Greg, as well. We've got Wilson and, of course, Alex West there in the pink hat.
To go, Tim, so you want to call him home from here, mate. They've got a left-hander coming up. Off you go.
Here we go. Brandon Jerrigal. He's hanging in there really, really well. Here we go. The first attack off the front. We've got Daryl Carter and Conti 13 watts per kilo as we work through. 14 watts per kilo by Messineo. He's laid the challenge down. Alex West comes up on the inside. Alex West has got it and timed it perfectly and gets the chocolates, as we say, in the Koa Sports League race. Alex West timed that attack perfectly just over the top of the Team ZF rider Messineo. Messineo has had some attacks the last few weeks. That's the closest he's got to taking the win. And we're back here. Alex West's boss, we can just call it, Reese Howell here, of the team boss of Canyon. And rolling across here. He's still got a lap to go here, Reese Howell. You need to lift your game and get like your done. Just kidding.
We might, Tim, there's going to be some good finishes here, so we might just
stay with this pack for sure.
There's good to see Reese in there, and there's 3. There's Rob Perel in there, and a couple other Koa Sport. There's Ignacio Acker out of Brisbane, or Toowoomba, he's in that group as well. So a huge group of Koa Sports athletes are going to take Reese down, no doubt about it.
Yeah, we got April. Chris Piper can absolutely, and looks like Marek is in there. Marek, who obviously got car doored, so shout out to him as they play a few power-ups. So Jerry Delport of Team ZF, a great supporter of ours, Jerry Delport. So welcome back, I should say, not welcome along, because, you've done a few races by now. So
Lionel just giving a quick shout out to the team boss saying, go Reese, hurry up. He's waiting to get his hot chocolate, mate. So Lionel, again, watching at home, and good to see him, his teammate there, Westy, timing that run perfectly to take the chockies. And
Yeah, good to see Relentless there, throwing down the challenge and asking the question. Wes's been very, very patient, experienced, would know the course so well and understand that, 6-7 seconds, whilst it could be daunting to some, he would be very confident that he could shut those attacks down. And he usually works hand in hand with Lionel Viarson, one of the best riders out on the Zwift racing circuit. So interesting to see there in the finish. We'll bring some of those results in a second. Marek here, but a really good pack here, Greg.
This is going to
and
be
I
a
know
good
some of
sprint.
the power of these riders. We're going to see some big power, Greg.
Let's see the Irishman there from the Sunshine Coast. Alan Burton in that group as well, Tim, and he packs a sprint. He has got the best looking calves on the Sunshine Coast. Don't worry about that. There's about 4 to 5 Koa. Look, Chrissy Piper's in there as well.
Not happy with that comment.
Chrissy Piper's in there. Kappa likes his calves. They're nice and well.
Bigger than his quads.
They're a bit hairy at the moment. But and then Hampson's in that group as well. So look out. There's going to be some fireworks here. We've got 900 metres to go here.
Yeah, Reece Howe there in the Canyons ECC team. Can he follow his teammate, I'm just going to call it, in across the line, and Alex Weston take the win in this group? Not so sure though, because Chris Piper and Marek, very good cyclists. We've got someone moving through to the front there at the moment. D Hampson just controlling the pace, and D Acker, I'll throw to you, Greg.
Here we go, past the Zwift Watopia mural on the left-hand side, and this is where it all lights up. 600 metres to go. They're catching a couple other riders here in the front. Here goes Nicole, is it, off the front? 9.4 watts a kilo. Here comes Liam O'Day now, 10.9 watts a kilo. Reece Howe, 11 watts a kilo, coming right through this group. There's a good way to go here. You want to measure those power-ups. Here comes Howell up to the group now, straight across the top of him, burns that power up perfectly and takes the win in that small group sprint. But he did touch 14, 15 watts a kilo in that group, so look out for Reece as he continues on his little journey around the Zwift world as well. And I did see
there,
we
Greg.
did just pass a Jay Avery, just pulled over on the side of the road. He's obviously finished his race and fallen off his kicker as well, so a shout out to Jason over in Perth.
Awesome racing, and plenty of riders still out on course working their way around on the Bell Lap as well. So, of course, next week, if you are tuning in for the first time, it is round 1 of the State of Origin for those people involved with Cycling Queensland or Cycling New South Wales. It's great to see some of the state bodies here in Australia embracing the sport and embracing what the show it is, and a bit of entertainment and fun along the way as well. So if you're a financial member of those states, of course, you can join up, get verified, and race for points and prizes. I believe there is a haircut on the line.
A haircut on the line.
Huge prizes. And as we throw back to some of the studios here, we'll just put a little intermittent and be back really soon.
Yeah, here we go. Here we're back now. I just got that mic back.
We need to make that about 5 seconds longer.
Work on that, Kappa. So we just want to highlight some of the results from the chop, and you're going to have to excuse the top of my head for just a minute. So
let's go through some of those,
as we
Greg.
called through, we had Nick White, Team Aero there, taking out the AHDR Cycling Australia chop. And in second place, we had Dylan Hopkins. Third place this week, we had the Jaguar. He was up in that front group last week as well. We had Daniel Sewick in there. I'm not even going to try and pronounce the Chinese rider who finished in 5th place. We're going to call him Jerry. He finished 5th. In 6th place, we had the great Jay Vine out of Australia. 7th was Chris Aitken. 8th was Aaron Coles. Great to see Aaron in the top there. And 9th place, Freddie Ovid. I picked him when I put the cobbers on him. So Freddie pushed it off the front really hard, just couldn't hold on. Professional rider racing for Israel Cycling Nation. And great to see him in 9th place. And rounding out the top 10 was the boss of Team Aero. I hope I have got that correct. But that man's name is Tully Lister. So great to see Tully in there as well. So we'll throw across to you, Tim. And you're waving your hand over there, so let's see.
I'll try and hold it together while you have a look at the app there and bring up some of the results, of course, in the Koa Sports League race. But wow, oh wow, did we get that timing right there for Alex West in that sprint finish, just moving up the inside, got that power up played at the right time and just on the inside of Messineo there from Team ZF. So, of course, if you haven't submitted a team yet, get involved because we start scoring for points in a couple of weeks' time. The team structure is a little bit different different in our league. We really like to promote inclusion. We are coaches after all, and we are for all riders on Zwift, and we really truly mean that. So it's equal points across A, B, C and D which gets accumulated. Have a look at that as well in conjunction with the individual points. We're here for a bit of fun and trying to put on a good show. Of course, tomorrow morning, if you're tuning in from Australia, that will make sense. We've got the Koa Sports Warrior community race backed up by the league race thereafter as well. And last week we had 330 riders in the community race, and Scotty Weiss taking out the win there, and let's see if he can back it up this week in the community race, followed by the league race as well. Greg, have you got some of those results in the
Absolutely
race
have.
just had?
As we just went through, Tim, well called by yourself, with Alex West sliding it up on the inside with a great time power up. I did hear the term one out and one back in there too, clearly back from your night spent at the Sandown trots.
I've been watching a little bit of horse racing lately.
Trots. So Alex West, Team Kenyon's ECC, taking the chockies. Leano Messinio, great broadcaster and streamer as well. Team ZF taking second. His teammate who he highlighted, Conti, taking third place and getting on the podium. And Pink, geez, we're picking out these winners and podium getters. Pink finished fourth there, Tim. We had Kay Smith, Team Relentless, in fifth place. The great Aidan Sinclair in sixth place, and we'll be watching him back up again tomorrow. And we had Malice, Keogh, Jonas Rapp, and great to see Daz Carter rounding out the top 10. So thanks for joining us. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning on the Koa Sports League community race, followed up by the private race at 9:45 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Check out what time that is wherever you are on the planet. Thanks for joining us. We look forward to seeing you soon. See ya.